Welcome back to another episode of Chaotic Harmony. We're live in the Seligman studio. We need to have more live episodes. I'm so glad you guys are here.
You have the lights.
I've never heard Seligman studio.
Oh, really?
The alliteration.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Well, first off, welcome. This is our actual 140 episode. Last time we said 140, it was supposed to be 140, but this is the real 140, 140. I am your host today, Jonathan Seligman, and I am joined, the two voices you just heard already, the lovely two. Starting on my right, we have Athena Reyes. Hello, Athena.
Hey, Jonathan.
Great to see you.
I know. I haven't seen you in a couple of years, like in person.
Was it been 2 years?
Yeah. I think, right?
Yeah. Since you came.
Shoot.
But it's been a long time. I'm so happy to see you.
Second, yeah.
And all of it. I like the three of us. It's a good vibe.
And the third person here is Brittany.case. Hello, Brittany.
Yes, hello.
Great to have you.
Instagram a lot.
Indeed.
Love all of it. And Athena and I are always together.
Too much.
Too much.
We are not allowed to sit next to each other at meetings.
I mean, our lunch, we just had lunch at Taco Machine, and like it was great to just like
So good.
it's a good
It was
just
so
vibe
good.
to just converse with you, because it's one thing to be the presenter for your district, but it's another thing to actually like hang out and chat.
Yeah, your voice went very low just now when
Hang
you
out
said
and
be
chat.
the
When you have to be the
presenter.
serious grown up in the room.
I mean, someone's got it.
As you were turning into like trees and orf bushes and things like that. Yeah, very serious.
So in case our audio listeners are still with us, Athena and Brittany are two lovely music educators from Orange County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in case you're not bear folk, you're not aware of this, California structure here. Orange County is just north of San Diego, but also, what is it, 2-hour drive?
With traffic, it can be 2 hours. Like to your house, we made it an hour and a half, which is nice because there was
there was no beach traffic, no one going to SeaWorld blocking our ways.
But we prepped.
So we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a plan for the traffic.
And Orange County is the closest group. Like, if you think LA is right next door, it's not.
You gotta travel through us,
you
the
gotta plan for
unknown
that.
suburbia.
So I met these two apparently 2 years ago. Shoot.
I know, it's crazy.
When I was doing a session with your district at Saddleback Valley Unified District. Is that correct?
That's it.
Got it? Yeah.
Our beloved district.
Shout out to Sabrina Skeels. Hi, Sabrina.
Sabrina brought you in.
Yes.
So we would have never met you and Natasha and this whole new Orf world.
And she met you because you guys were like following each other on Twitter.
So Sabrina, first off, is your guys' VAPA coordinator.
Yes.
And the way that Sabrina and I met was, through Twitter. Rest in peace, Twitter.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
We'll
we were
live
like
forever.
one of the, there was a whole cohort of like arts educators on Twitter just chatting with each other. And then, she invited me to talk to you at your district. And then I met you guys, and then we're here.
Yeah. Thank you, Sabrina. I'll tell her to listen.
And also,
I don't say thank you enough.
a shout out to all VAPA admin. Y'all,
That's right. Here's a
they
little
do
clap.
a lot of key stuff. You have no clue. To our listeners, y'all have no clue how much they're needed until they're gone.
Oh, that's,
We were talking about it at lunch.
we were.
Yeah.
But this is not coordinator. Butchered it.
Yep.
This is not coordinator harmony. This is chaotic harmony. The show where we talk about the joys, struggles, and all things adjacent to elementary music. Last week, we published the episode where I interviewed the wonderful Inoue sisters, specifically Mika, Mei Lee, and Sarah. Were you able to check it out?
I love seeing the clips that you shared. They're so insightful.
They are wonderful people. They were talking about a really important topic, Japanese American incarceration camps.
Oh, man.
But
heavy.
it's heavy. But they were able to teach it in such a playful way back in 2021 during ORF conference. And so we chatted about that. So do listen to that episode if it was last week.
Yes.
Next week is a surprise. Not because it's a special guest per se, but it's because I have no clue. We've been doing a lot of audibles lately in our calendar. It's like we thought we had things planned out, but man, a lot of things have happened this past couple months. So we apologize, but no, it'll be a good episode. Nevertheless, and so do check
us
that out.
teachers rely on you guys for that. Like we gotta
need the
have these
rounds.
weekly hum until we get to those conferences, until we get to the workshops. This gives us that professional, just a little extra zhuzh to get through the week. I love listening to all the weekly.
They get it. These are our
Appreciate that.
people.
Really,
I really do appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Obviously, we put these episodes out, and for you to have listeners join in the conversation, it's always wonderful.
And I want Crystal more, as I've said
Heard
already.
of Crystal? She wants you more.
I need more rounds. I need more ideas.
We need more ideas. Dallas said, before we get into the meat of things, so Athena and Brittany.
Yes.
I want us to, before we get into the meat of this topic, which is going to be about partner teaching, you know us, but the listeners might not know who you are. So we'd like to do a little bit what we like to call program notes. Do you mind telling us, like, what specifically do you teach? Where do you teach exactly? We mentioned Mount Saddleback Unified, but like, where do you teach? How many schools do you teach? How many kids do you teach? And something of your ethos, et cetera, like that. So Athena, share us your program notes. Who, what, when, where?
We'll go in alphabetical order.
A,
B.
I am in my 5th year of teaching elementary music. That's K through 6. And Saddleback Valley, we have 20 elementary schools. So the way that our program is currently structured, which I actually really love, is that we have about 4 to 5 teachers on a team and we travel together to 5 to 6 sites a week. So not quite 1 school a day. Sometimes it can be 2, but we teach general music K through 3, recorder with general music, 4th grade, and 5th and 6th, what we call pathways. So they get the choice between doing full band. This is the first time actually this year. We pushed really hard to have, we're not talking about double reeds, but we're talking just like, 3 woodwinds, 3 brass, percussion. We also do strings, and we're offering the violin, viola, cello for the first time as well. Before it used to be just violin and vocal. So that's the current one.
Choral kind of situation.
Yeah. So right now, like, we really like this iteration of the program. And I'm currently out of the classroom in an instructional role, but I'm at the end of the 2nd year of doing that. And
what does that mean exactly, instructional role?
It means a lot of encompassing things, whatever my boss tells me to do.
I do what she tells me to do.
We're pretty lucky. You should share like what your instructional role is, because like we got snaps out to our VAPA coordinators. We have Athena as our instructional coach specifically for elementary music. And she'll also liaison with some of our visual art teachers and our secondary teachers, which I think is really unique that a lot of districts don't have a like music specialist leading some of the instructional work. A lot of us, it's like, hey, there's that humanities teacher telling us to do classroom management.
Always the best.
Right. Yeah. You're like, thank you. I love these science ideas. Not that we don't love science or humanities. We love them. But Athena just has such a unique perspective because she's been in the classroom. She's done K through 12 classroom work. And so she brings that in with her instructional work and also with the scope and sequence. Not to take your job from you.
So is this...
I will not brag on myself. So, and like literally when I win awards, it's because she brags on me. And I'm like, why would you do that?
Can you please list your CV from alphabetical order, please? Your awards.
I can.
Just because we'll save more for the Athena dedicated episode.
Yes.
Brittany, give us your program notes. What do you teach? Who do you teach? Why do you teach?
I teach here with Athena. I teach without caffeine, which we discussed. I don't drink any caffeine. I know. How do I do this?
Is this pure pink?
It's pure pink. I know. It just runs through my veins. So I've been teaching. Athena and I both got started in the district at the same time because 5 years ago they expanded it we had been talking about the block grant and with a lot of other funding. And so I came on with that from the Bay Area. Woo woo, Menlo Park, Menlo Baby School District. I miss them, love them. I had the unfortunate, terrifying news that I was going to be stuck teaching instrumental, and I have never touched.
And when she got hired, she specifically asked that she wouldn't, and like confirmed, not that she wasn't like interested in it, but she was like, I applied for a job that's K through 6 general music. And that's originally what it was, I think the intent was. Yeah. And she specifically was like, so this is not instruments.
Yeah, I was like, you would laugh like if I was your student's instrumental, like ha 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 in my interview. Cause I was like, no, don't make me do this. And then I show up day one and they were like, everyone's teaching instruments. And I was like, dear God, what? I went to my car. I cried a little bit. I was like, why? So we made it over that little baby hump. I can make my way through trumpet a little badly. I can pretend like I can teach the clarinet without playing it very badly.
This, and yet she is our department's first Teacher of the Year.
Oh, are you? Hey.
We have so many teachers in our department, but no one had ever thought like we need our own elementary music representation of Teacher of the Year because we don't belong to a dedicated site.
So I teach instruments. I actually have really grown to love teaching beginning violin, which I still do. I have the new added bonus of having one cellist, since we opened it up to cello and viola this year. So I have in my one beginning strings, I have 38 violins and then one little cello, and she's just a rock star. But I'm mostly a vocalist, and as you know, I'm pretty comfortable in general music. I only wanted to go to school for elementary and general music and all the little babies. I never wanted dreams of secondary. So our team of 5 this year travels to 6 schools, and I have about 1,000 students, my sweet little babies. It is a lot.
But 1,000 students of 6 schools of 4, 5, 6 grades.
Of
grades 4,
kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And we teach all of those grades.
So, but you're at 6 schools, 1,000 kids?
Uh-huh.
Are they small? Are they small schools relatively?
So no, the thing is, and this is why our program is a little bit different. So a lot of teams, from what I've learned, they do travel together, and it'll be like, oh, okay, if you're the strings specialist, you'll take all the strings kids here. And then if you're the elementary teachers, you'll take all of the littles over here. So what we do is all 5 of us will teach, for example, if it's a big school, we'll all teach kindergarten at the same time, and we each are assigned to a classroom teacher. If it's a smaller school, you might have one block of music that's kinder for 2 teachers, and then first grade for 2 of the other teachers. And then that last teacher teaches a first and second grade combo, because we have combos. Boo. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that's them is my true heart feelings right there.
It is. It definitely makes things more mixed and difficult.
It does. Yes. So, and that's what we do when we're there at a school site. So usually a school will have music once a week for 50 minutes for each of their grade levels. And some schools, if they're bigger, they will, like Athena said, they might get a whole day of music. And then for one of my schools, it's so big, we're actually there 2 days out of the week, because one of the days is like K through 5, and then the next day is like 6th grade with like a first grade. But then some of our smallers, they only get 3 blocks of music, because one of the blocks will be kinder, first, second, and then another one is third, fourth, and then the last one is 5, 6. So we teach at the same time in our own separate classes. I know your face, like, that is
just like, like, how did you, that's a lot of planning.
I know. And when I first found out about this, this was my face right here, because I was like, there has to be an easier thought process. So it sounds like, Jonathan, at yours, you guys all release the grade level at the same time, like a special. So like kids have music, art, and dance at the same time. So ours is just, instead of having the other elements of VAPA, it's just music release time. So we don't have a theater program yet in our elementary district. I know that's something that they've talked about, or not elementary district, but in our district. But we do have visual art teachers that started this year, but they're not in connection with our rotation at all. Sorry, last year, so they are on their own rotation, and they're not breaks or release or PLC for the classroom teachers. They're there at the same time as classroom teachers. So theirs is a little different, but
So I guess this is where co-teaching starts, because you are all at the same team at 6 sites, traveling, Wilburys going around, it's like, that's who you are. Okay. So, then to get to our main topic, can you define in your own words? Like, I feel like I shared it, but did I miss anything? Or can you just redefine, just to make it one succinct thing so we can put it on TikTok? What is co-teaching?
I think this is our definition.
Sure,
We went rogue. We were like, you're going to force us with these schedules, and we took it apart, and we were like, I'm gonna teach this class, even though like we're all teaching 4th grade, but because I want to be in this room. And then why don't you so we literally had all the questions. I was really upset that like, you're forcing Brittany to teach instrumental when she's specific. So we literally took it, and we were like, we're gonna take advantage of it. So I think that's like first.
Okay.
And the other thing is that the structure of our program, right, is very different, as we've discussed. We're also a push-in program. So each of us, all 6 or 5 of us when we're at a school site, we're supposed to push in for music at the same time in the classrooms. And as all of your listeners know, classroom teaching with desks and with chairs and, flex
Flexible
seating.
seating.
It's not impossible to do music,
No, it's
but
not, but
it's not ideal. And so the first year that I was a part of the team that Athena was, I was the only elementary person. I had my own classroom at the previous school district. I had learned about circle games, all of the things that general music is. And so when I first got pushed into the classroom, I pushed back on the department and I was like, no, we're missing out all of these standards. Where's the connecting? Where's the movement for students that need it?
Folk
How are we able to
dancing?
do folk
We can't
dancing?
do any of
creative
it.
movement. Yep.
So I started, and Athena, we started like going around our schools and opening doors to see if there were empty
Oh,
classrooms.
shoot. So this is the Rogue you're talking about?
This is the rogue.
so rogue.
Oh.
This is where our co-teaching came from.
I transferred from secondary, so I had tons of clout. Like
Okay.
I knew, I mean, like just know, like
big deal.
I was like, get me in trouble, slap my wrist. I am not going to be forced into this tiny little classroom with bean bags and, like I completely understand the general classroom
Sure.
teacher. That's like
Yeah.
their home, with like the way that when I had my own band room, that's what it was too. And I needed it to be my space. I wanted my podium where I wanted it. And so they need that for them as well, but that doesn't work for us at all.
So we finally started finding some empty spaces, and I would share this with the team, like, oh, I'm going to be taking my kids to this empty space, which had been unheard of. And I was like, I'm just going to shove all this furniture, right? Because nobody's in here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start teaching this circle game. And everyone's like, circle game? So Athena,
Oh, yeah.
like, why would you do
So
that? What even
Jason's
is
gonna
this?
be on the desk
Yeah.
while the circles be made.
It's got lots of levels,
Exactly.
like they're the high levels, they're underneath. So Athena started wanting to learn a little bit more since it was her first year. And so she was like, well, I'm teaching the same grade as you. Could we try to fit both of our groups in there at the same time?
Okay.
So to your definition of co-teaching, you have to be co-conspirators a little bit. You have to be on the same like vibe level with each other. So Athena knew like, okay, this is somebody I can, go into empty classrooms with and then commandeer. And we're not going to, get upset at each other. We're not going to be like, oh my gosh, it's all Athena or all Brittany. So we're on the same level of like, this is what's best for the kids right now. But when we finally started doing that, what was cool, and I think what we've really talked about for co-teaching is we're rooted in very similar morals and fundamentals for the students. And we're both very student-centered. And so for us, co-teaching was both of us teaching our two sets of students equally at the same time. So it wasn't, oh, now Athena's in the room with me. Brittany, you're going to teach these kids and I'm going to sit back and watch. Or Athena, you're going to teach these band kids and Brittany's going to take notes in the back. It was equal amounts of energy, equal amounts of we want to get the kids here, which is different than I think a lot of people do for co-teaching. What we talked about is some people who co-teach right there with their small group of students, and it's like always these two teachers together. We see it a lot with like younger kids, or like, oh, this kinder school or this kinder class is like a 60% teacher on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then they have a 40%, but it's still just one teacher. Well, we have our own sets of students. So now my 30 and her 30, we have 60 kids, but we're both teaching together.
Was this space conducive for that?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It
Depending on the
depends
grade
on the
level?
space
We would make it.
and grade
So
level.
did you find a space at every single site?
Oh, yeah.
We would make it happen.
So all of our sites actually have an NPR
Okay.
and
Multi-purpose room, if you don't know what that is.
multi-purpose room, and not all of them function the same way. Some of them function as a storage space. So then it becomes difficult. And there are also other events. There's book fairs and school plays or musicals that go on. But again, using that clout when you were still new, but now she uses it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh my gosh, I passed it on.
We're like, oh, this PTA room that they only use on Fridays and we're here on Tuesdays. Could we use that? Wouldn't that be so nice? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't
That's
it?
exactly what it is. So that first year was, hey, the NPR.
Yeah.
When I do music, oh man, I'm like tripping over the desk. It's so scary for my students. And I would have this conversation with an office manager. Well, I mean, Athena, what are you thinking? Like, is there any way we can help? So eventually now it's an expectation. So the NPR is booked and available for music. We're, like one of our amazing teachers, Bryce, he calls it the music purpose room when we're there.
That's cool. Right.
So now it's almost standardized across our entire department, but we really—
So you started that?
We were the first ones that were just like, we're going to commandeer the NPR. And there were some spaces where we couldn't do that.
When you were talking about small schools when
there's a lot.
But we also standardized that every school site will have also a secondary space available to music outside of the multipurpose room, the NPR. So at all of our school sites, we all have the NPR available for all of our music blocks. And then there's usually an extra like empty classroom or, hey, the psychologists are in here on Wednesdays for their meetings, but you guys have music on Mondays. There's nothing that, needs to be hidden from anybody. So you guys can use that room on Mondays. So that's been something we've been able to do. And now we're actually seeing co-teaching on all of the teams. Athena, you're the instructional coach, so you get to see it. It's in variations, but it's happening, which is very cool.
So you started co-teaching. Y'all went rogue. Said, this ain't okay. And you started you started combining together and finding spaces that were not meant for you initially.
Yeah.
What was the reaction by other people on your team? Was it like, was there a like, this is taboo, you're not supposed to be doing this? Or like, what was the reaction by other?
A little bit. Everyone else on our team, aside from me, was all temporary.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of like, I guess Brittany's willing to sacrifice her job and get caught and get in trouble, but we're not. Like, we're still grant fund. Like, it was very much that teacher, right? But then there was a little bit of curiosity, which was great. Some people were like, I'm not sure if I'm willing to risk my job and get in trouble, which really, that's not what you were doing.
We're not advocating for that to be happening, by the way.
We're not advocating to lose your job. But.
It wasn't at that level either. There was nothing written for us that we couldn't do it, which also I looked into and I knew. And so it was very much just like a lot of questions. We would lunch together and we would spend breaks together. So we would talk a lot about what we were doing in our co-teaching, and everyone was very curious about it. But it took a while for it to catch on.
I also think, again, back to our structure, because we all have different backgrounds, a lot of people, and that's why I'm so fortunate to have Athena on the team when we first met, but a lot of people who came from like a secondary mindset or from an instrumental mindset, it just really wasn't even in the peripherals for them to even question like, oh, this was the space that was provided. This is what we have. It wasn't a question of them for asking like, is this what's best for kids? And so I think that that's something that Athena and I always come back to. And when we would have our conversations in lunch, we would say like, hey, for these trumpets, like we are going to be moving them to the NPR instead of in the classroom, because what's best is to give the children their first choice instrument. And they picked trumpet and there's 47 of them. That's not safe in the classroom. So what's best for us is to find a space for them. And I think when
actually the argument that we used to standardize the NPR across all sites was the student safety.
Yeah, because it's true. Yeah. Like we're not going to have 47 blaring trumpets in a tiny classroom that's really meant for 35 people. And I think when our team started hearing the reasons why we were going rogue, like it's not just like this weird pink-haired teacher and this very, cuckoo secondary teacher coming in and saying like, oh, all of this is, horrendous. We were saying like, this is not right for students. They're missing out on a quality music education and they're doing something about it. And it's not hurting anybody because these spaces are empty.
Yeah.
Right? This is what we pay for, is to have space. So we should be utilizing it. And by the end of the first year that we did it, everybody combined at some point and co-taught.
Did you also have that reaction amongst the general teachers in your schools for the most part?
I feel like a lot of them were happy we were not in their space.
I was going to say, it was very rare that someone would, like the classroom teachers would, even admin would question it. It was really just like, oh, thank God, I don't have to like move anything back.
That's fair,
You're not in our space taking. There was something where some of our music department complained about not having enough whiteboard space. And we got a lot of pushback from classroom teachers.
I could see that.
And so they were, and like sometimes they wanted to hang things up and we were like, we're totally out of your space. So there was it was almost welcomed.
And some of our classroom teachers actually were like, oh, that's your music teacher. You kids get to go to the and it started to become like an exciting thing. The classroom teachers, I felt, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt when they saw us taking kids and being able to bring out these Orff instruments that our district does have sporadically, or these scarves, and do movement, or see them doing, Alabama Gal, a folk dance. The classroom teachers are like, oh, wow, like you guys are teaching stuff. Like, and I see it. It's not just sitting in the desks and like kids reciting a song. And I think that was a huge advocacy piece that I experienced. Once I started doing that, my classroom teachers were like, what do you need? What do you want from us?
Fascinating. So they defended once you had your own space, or once you were out of their space.
Yeah.
Well, and so the other part of that advocacy was also being able to have the conversations with the classroom teachers and letting them know, like, oh, so we're going to use this other space. Do you want to meet me there? Maybe. And we would also just like, wouldn't it be smart if they could be part of the lesson?
Yeah.
And like, hey, can you get out of your PLC the last like 5 minutes? If you just ask them, like, that you have some, like, pick up your kids or something.
Right.
And so they were willing to do that and be part of the lesson, learn the song. We would always try to make sure that, like, they're going to be here in 15 minutes. Let's hurry up and finish this so we can learn the dance. And so we can do all the things and really impress, like, we want to win them over. We want them to be on our side, and we want to be on their side too.
Yeah.
But there was a big divide. And I think the former iteration of our program was just so different. It was grades 4 through 6, really just pathway focused, of like the way that we think of it, like, band, orchestra, and it was general music, not even voice. So a lot of classroom teachers had a much more negative viewpoint of our program. So we were also realizing that and trying to get them on our side.
Yeah, and just trying to establish, like, this is a new program, and whatever pains have happened between the older program and the classroom teachers, we're new, and we're here to be flexible, and we want to know what you have been experiencing with your kids. Also, this was the year right after the pandemic, so all of us, like classroom teachers and music teachers, were all like, what are children doing? Why can't they sit in their chairs? Like, oh, okay, we just won't have chairs. Let's sit on the floor in the NPR. Like, that solves those problems.
I feel like there's a separate episode as well talking about how you transitioned from the old music paradigm
my God, yes.
to you. Because we were talking during lunch about we are all Orff trained. To some extent.
Yeah, I'm not.
To varying extents.
Very newbie Orff right here.
But your exposure to Orff was very different. I think that, again, we'll say that for another conversation for sure, but I think that's something to be said because, taking over, you weren't just taking over someone's space, you were taking over someone else's not paradigm,
like
but
reputation
perspective of what music should be, and then also whole school or schools community of what music is.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing too. Like, the community expectation of music was vastly different than what the current program was.
Sure. Yes.
And there had been huge complaints, so to speak, but also, like, the community had really wanted music, but they just knew the current, at the time, program wasn't accomplishing that. And then we would see, like, a lot of our programs had these massive marching bands in high school, and the same thing would happen at the middle school. So it was just like, how can we connect it to elementary music? And it actually took us a few years to figure that out, to get a little more connected with our secondary colleagues. Being in a unified district, we want to try to make it so that we were all really on the same music team. And how can we do that if we're not all aligned at this level first?
So and you know how we could? Co-teaching. You're welcome. I can get us back on track. You're welcome.
It's all organic, but I think so. We talked about the co-teaching of space.
Yeah.
What about the co-teaching of the logistics? Like, because you two work together, 60 kids, 2 teachers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and so it's more in some grades.
It can be, right? Because 30
What's
is
the lowest
general.
you've taught in a class and the most you've
60,
taught? Sorry, for individually. So, Brittany, like, what would you say is the lowest you taught? Like, more or less.
So our district doesn't have for class sizes, it's not per class, it's a class average. So the numbers get averaged out. So
that's wild.
Across the district, not per se.
Yeah. So for example, this year I teach 2 kinders on a Tuesday at 2 different schools. One of my school kinders is 14 kinders. How magical, how
That's
wonderful.
Lovely.
And then I travel to my second school and then I go right into another kinder class, literally 1.5 miles away. And it is 37 kinders in one room. So
37 kindergartners.
Yeah.
I am just curious, like, to all our listeners, please let me know. I am very curious. What is the cap for each of your districts? So like our cap in Chula Vista is 31.
And that's like per class.
Per class.
Not average.
But also it is, averages don't exist. We definitely try to press down when we come on to the primaries. It's not in our contract, but on the primaries, it is recommended below 24.
That is so beautiful.
We would love
that is not happening for us.
37.
And the bizarre thing about our district, the way that things had been organized from many iterations ago, is that there also is a different cap for music.
We are capped at 45 students to one teacher. So
wait, what?
And that's regardless of grade level.
Because of special ed push-in, or?
That's just our contract numbers. And actually our special ed push-in do not count towards our numbers. So I know your face right now. So this was 2 years ago. I taught a kinder class and it was a pretty average for California number. It was 28. And then I had 13 sped push-in. So 28 plus 13, y'all could do the math. That's a really large number.
Too large.
They were not counting my sped kiddos, who I love, as part of that. As part of that under 45. Also, each of these students was either a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. So in addition to my 13 kinders, I also had around 13 adults in the room for these kids. And
somebody had an NPR. Please, at least you had
not at first, and this is why we pushed for it. I know.
Oh, man.
So we have been really trying hard, I think, especially Athena and I, when it comes to co-teaching, that I don't want to say we don't adhere to the 45-to-1, but if there are kids that need to be getting music, like our SAI, like our autism special, our mod severe, we're like, please come in, but you must give us an open space. And we have to be able to do this together, because if Brittany has 13 SAI, SPED, push-in, and Athena has 0, and Athena has 24 kinder, and Brittany has 28, well, now we can put all of those numbers together. And we have 2 credentialed teachers in here who can help make the most out of that music experience.
So so a lot of numbers.
Yes.
So maybe on average, maybe 60. Between the two of you.
Us, yeah.
I would say that's on the low end, and that's usually for primary. Once we get the older kids, we've had 4th grade recorder that
I would
we've
say
combined.
75.
And then I think the largest was like a foothill, where the band and you and I co-taught, where it was, I remember I made 80 packets, but then you were like,
so our band right now, if we do that 45-to-1, without counting our SAI and our SPED push-ins, we could be at 90 students to each of us and stay within contract numbers. And then if you add on SAI after that, you could be up to 100 kids.
For the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like it's pretty obvious to state that there is benefit of having multiple teachers.
100%.
So,
we've also experienced the opposite.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But no, for sure. But just a bullet point. It's one thing to conceptualize, but for you to live it, what are some benefits of being co-teachers?
So we, like Brittany mentioned earlier, we are very aligned, and that really benefits us, because after the initial shock of learning each other's styles, we now can, and actually we don't even lesson plan anymore with each other. But at first it was like, okay, bullet point. What do we want to accomplish? What are our goals? We don't have to argue about it. But I think that's essentially one of the first ways that it happened. It was just like, let's get a whiteboard out and let's figure out what do we want to accomplish for the students and what are the different activities we want to do. And then we also agree to read the room. If we can tell that the students are really having a hard time engaging, then we'll pivot and we trust each other that someone else, I might read it a little differently than Brittany, because if she's leading something while I'm engaging everybody, then she might not see what I see. And so we really do trust each other, and we're able to just here's what we want to accomplish. And we both will try to make sure that we just reflect on it as we do this, where we're
so team reflection is really crucial.
The entire time it's is this student-centered? What's the function of this? Is this really going to be the next best step? One of the biggest things that we had to overcome, and I love your brilliant, beautiful brain, because Brittany is just so naturally tuned into the way that kids can successfully gain a new skill in music, and she'll break it down, and she'll have them do something very kid-friendly that relates to this new skill. And so I watch it's a masterclass, but she'll lead me through her thought process. And so now we both do that. And I feel like I was more of that pedagogue for like the instruments.
Yes.
And so then we would we would both kind of just brainstorm off of each other, like what's the best way to get them? Like here's our end goal. And then we work backwards.
Okay.
One of my favorite things, so I'm a mentor for induction, and something that I share with my mentees is like, for me, when I'm with my students, there is like a passing of energy, and I think about it kind of like Harry Potter, with like the beams of electricity from your fingers, but like it's coming from the lead teacher. And if there's only one of me, I have to divide up the energy going to each student. But when I have a co-teacher there, it's like I have something that my energy can shoot off of, so that I have somebody else that's shooting the same energy. So it's a little less from me to connect to all of the kids, because I have somebody else who knows exactly the roadmap that we have. She knows exactly that whatever choice I make or she makes, it's going to be student-centered. Even if she goes off on a tangent that I'm like, hey, we didn't talk about that, like in my head, I know and I can trust that wherever she's taking us, I am going to be that like co-pilot that is like, wherever you go, captain, I'm going. And I know that if I'm the captain, she's always going to redirect. And so she was saying that we have eyes on the students. What's really cool is it never has to be, we always talk about this, like the Athena show up front, where like Athena's doing all of the heavy lifting for the entire 50 minutes. I'll be walking and redirecting some of the behaviors to get that energy transfer between Athena and the kids to be redirected, rather than kid to kid sharing the energy. I'm just like, oh, I see Mrs. Reyes doing this. Can you show me that? I really love how you're focused with that. But I can also pause, or vice versa. If I'm leading, Athena can raise her hand and say, Miss Case, because that's what my students call me. Miss Case, I think I might need to hear that one more time, because Athena might notice that while the kids that I'm next to with that proximity are getting what I'm sharing, there is a group that's not. And that is one of the most powerful things I think we get as having a credentialed music teacher in the room with us, is they can see the skills and, like I said, the roadmap of how we're getting there. And they can see, oh, I think we need to approach it a different way. We don't get that when we're in a room by ourselves. You're hoping,
right.
Or if you do, you have to work a little bit harder, because you're like, I think those kids aren't getting it. But then it turns out they're helping each other. So like having somebody walk the space, redirect the behaviors, and do a temperature check of how they're doing, right? That informal assessment also in the end helps our lesson be more efficient. It doesn't seem like a class of 60 would be more efficient than a class of 30. But because we know that we're aligned with our morals, because we know that we trust whatever is coming out of that person's brain is going to be for this end goal, we are so much more efficient and so much more able to connect. In a group of 60 violin students, you're never, like if you're teaching by yourself, you're never going to say, hey, turn and talk to your neighbor and ask them this, because that's chaos to bring it back together. But if I have a co-teacher
walking around assisting, yes.
Exactly. If I'm like, hey, turn and talk to your neighbor. How did you do on that segment of music that we did? Can you share? Can you be a mirror or a partner, right? Bringing in some of those ORF student-centered approaches with my co-teacher there, I can be in the back getting that attention. She can be in the front. And it makes the job easier.
And it's not, from what I gather, it's not like, say, for example, an IA that's assisting management. It is someone that is feeding off the energy of the other teacher, and also reading while the you said lead teacher?
Yeah.
So while the lead teacher is instructing what would you call the other one?
We usually call it support and
teacher.
It's never like an assignment. It's like
it's flowing constantly. It's very dynamic,
like an improv group.
Yeah,
I would say that's probably like 75% of how we lead our co-teaching is very much like a moving. Like we have a moving target, but then we do plan on like, especially rounds. That's like our favorite, where it's like, you're going to watch us, and now it's both of us.
Yeah.
And now Miss Case is over there and Miss Reyes is over here. And so we will plan on times where we're going to show movement, or we're going to sing, and we're going to have, like just a certain skill that we're having them listen for. Like, okay, this side you're going to sing with Miss Case, and this side you're going to sing with Mrs. Reyes.
Yeah.
And so we will plan on how we're going to like lead things together. And I know that probably sounds bizarre, because like, whoa, that's like a lot of alpha all at the same time.
But that's that efficiency, right? Because you can't be part 1 and part 2 of a round. You can't be teaching beat and rhythm at the same time. You have to stop. You have to use the time to do one or the other. So Mrs. Reyes is going to be beat. Follow her on this side if you're beat. Ms. Case is going to be rhythm. Follow her. So we can be more efficient with those types of things.
And we've talked about how we have a lot of colleagues that teach from YouTube. And I think that's probably the reason why they want to, is because they want that ability to have a lead instructor teach while they support. But obviously the lead instructor being a static video is just not the same thing. So the goal is, if we're assuming good intentions, the goal is noble, but it just doesn't work the same way. So to have two teachers that both feed off each other and also are able to support all the kids in a very fluid way, that sounds really cool. Yeah. You mentioned earlier how, and I can imagine, how that can be a little bit of a detriment though. You two have not been the only co-teachers. You've worked with other people, is that correct?
Our entire department is co-teaching currently, and we have 4 different teams. But even for us on our team, when we first started to do this and some of our teachers began becoming curious and we had different assignments, so like year 2, year 3, we would co-teach with other teachers. And it's different because we'd always come back to each other like, oh my God, I wish you were with me.
Yeah, always.
And so sometimes you're not aligned.
Sure, yeah.
And other times, I literally had this happen on our team, I think a couple years ago, and I think I vented to you, like someone was like, oh, I need to take a call. I'm on jury duty. Or like just you, depending on your coworker.
Or can I take notes while you're leading these 90 students? And it's like, while I'm flattered.
Yeah.
No, you're a teacher. You're getting paid right now, honey bunny.
So there are times where a colleague might unintentionally take advantage of the situation. Because sometimes it is the Brittany show, it's the Athena show, and we don't need the support. And I'm sure when you're running class, someone can come in and be like, look at this magic that you're doing with your students. So I'm not needed. And that's not the point of co-teaching. Not that you're not needed. It's like you mentioned, that's like the perfect way to describe it. The efficiency of it. When there's 2 of us, we can get through like twice the amount of lessons in one class.
Well, what if maybe I should backpedal for a bit? How are you able to tag team essentially? How do you? What's the cue? What's the feel when you guys
have
clap?
A really good one that we created on our team, and we had to talk about it. One of the hard things, at least for me, and I feel like when you come out of university for music ed, you are really taught to be your own island. Like you have to do this alone. Your program is just yours. And even though I came from the general music and I was like, yeah, come into my space. What was really hard for me was going from, these are my kids. I'm getting them there with this song to, oh, actually we're co-teacher parenting. And it's like, these are our kids. And even though I want to teach them with this song, there is a different piece of repertoire that Athena is offering, and it's the same thing. And learning to let go and be able to trust.
Let go of the ego, not just control, but like,
yes,
my way is not the only way.
And that it's not a reflection on you. If you need a partner, that was also really hard. And not like I can't make it through, but like, hey, I think you teach this section really well, so I'll manage and redirect, and then we'll switch over. But one of the tools that we came up with, because I definitely put my brain on child mode a lot of the times when we're teaching, is if we notice that kids are struggling with getting something that maybe the teacher who's leading the activity isn't able to notice, we actually just gave ourselves permission to raise our hand and say, if it's Athena up there not noticing maybe an odd round issue, they're not quite getting it, and one group's falling behind, like, Mrs. Reyes, I think I need to hear that one again. I was a little behind. Do you think you could lead it one more time and give us a count off? I'm not telling her like, Athena, fix yourself. You did not count us in. Like, do you hear the train wreck?
And that was like year 1. Now we never.
No.
We were co-teaching a lot for your violin class at Cielo Vista last year, and it was so back and forth.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm going to teach, 3, 2, 1, open. And then Mrs. Reyes, you can teach that next phrase. I use the term a lot, but it is like a good improv group, not the creepy kind that's like, tell us what you want us to do. But like, we can start to read each other really well. Like, oh, I see Brittany is looking at that corner. I know that Brittany wants to go help those kids over there. So Athena's going to step in really quickly. And we both know that we're teaching Twinkle, Twinkle. So Athena knows how to get beyond that and address something while Brittany's dealing with this.
And the kids didn't, I know this has been established for a while, but the kids never felt confused when you guys tag teamed.
Yeah, that was one thing that we never had to address. And I think part of it is also that we are really big on setting up trust and expectations and connecting with our kids, even though they're not always connecting with any other teacher. But I'm also not their only teacher. So
It's
because
true.
we might
Yeah.
be at a site, and at this point with some of our sites, we've been at for 5 years now. So they already know us. We've been co-teaching, and they know the other teachers from co-teaching as well. So the students are prepped for this experience as well. They know they're going to get a few lessons individually with us in between some of the co-teaching. I don't know that you and I would co-teach pretty regularly.
Yeah.
But there are other times with our teams, especially when we're not super aligned and we have to really lesson plan, it might take a few weeks to get there. So we might co-teach once a month or so. But I think for the most part, the kids already are aware of us, and they have had us as their teacher for many years in different grades. So that part has never, I don't know that we've ever had to discuss that.
And I think one of the things that helps us with that, of like, oh, this is the lead teacher. Oh, this is Athena and I are never podium locked. We aren't, like, even if we're going to put ourselves in a pathway mindset of like violins, which was the example earlier. Yes, they're all facing that way, but I might be teaching from stage left with these kids right in front of me and, hey, can I borrow that violin? Like, oh, and, teaching from there. So the kids are accustomed to needing to look at whoever that teacher is, who's giving that signal. And it's not always going to be up there. And the littles, we'll have them in circles all the time. As you know, It's so easy in circles or, half circles. So they never need to worry of like, oh, Mrs. Reyes was just teaching that. And something that we've talked about is like, one of the really cool things about music, and you guys have talked about this on your podcast, is like the communal aspect of it. And we talk so much about students needing to communicate with each other in group settings appropriately, but we don't always model it. When we co-teach, we are literally modeling how
collaboration and creating a team, being a team member, taking care of someone else, and then being willing to have someone take care of you and just being able to pass it back and forth. That's, I think, the biggest thing that the kids, for the way the kids can see the way that I might interact with Miss Case versus how she might interact with like another teacher that might be a man that looks different. Like we're all so different. We have different backgrounds, different styles and personalities, but we're always respectful. And like this isn't really something talked about, but the kids pick up on, and they know what, how it feels to see professionals collaborating and creating a team and really having each other's back. Yeah. And even when we've been in those professional settings and we're angry sometimes with our colleagues, it's always like we will disagree in private. We are going to have a chat during lunch, or we're going to figure out how to move forward after this. But in front of the kids, we always have each other's back.
Or even if it's a small thing like, oh, we decided that we were going to sing this on a D as the tonal center, and somebody accidentally picks a different pitch. We're not going to stop. I wasn't going to
I'm the band person. I am a solid B flat.
Living, breathing all the time. It's a good one. Nice and warm on our folds. But she, like we're not going to stop the class and model to the students like, Mrs. Reyes, ew, like, what are you singing? Like, you're down here. I need you up here. Right?
This is like literally, okay, we had a Twinkle Twinkle in violin. And it was mass violin. It like literally like probably 150 kids because it was like a few classes in there. And it was Brittany's turn, and it was like D, D, A. And something happened, and it was like, Mrs. Reyes, I'm going to let you take on. And so I was like, okay, right here. Everybody on the D, 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 and shot me this look. And I literally shot back.
Yeah, and
they
it's
don't
like
know any better. They're beginning
work on intervals. We're working on intervals.
Yes.
Doesn't matter that it doesn't match. I'm
movable dough, people. Movable dough.
And you know what? They still played it. We still got we even did bow work that day.
Yeah, and we just talked about like, did we hear how it was different? And like making it a conversation, and like I really liked how that was comfortable for you to sing down there, Mrs. Reyes. I'm going to bring it back up here, right? Because the students can see that we're being communal. That I'm not here to say that music doesn't belong to Athena because she's not singing my matched pitch. Like that's not what music is about in a communal space. And like, I think that those soft skills are also what we share with our families when they get to see our co-teaching too. And it goes
informances, right?
Yeah, in our informances. It goes beyond just, hey, this is an empty space. Hey, this is somebody who I love learning from. She's a master teacher. Like I just want to kiki with her all the time. Like I get to share collaboration with her. I get to watch a master teacher while showing my students like, wow, look, wow, I want my eyes on Mrs. Reyes right now. Did you see how she tapped? And like, it's so magical when it comes in alignment like that with your
It's really
co-teaching.
cool. And I think that's going to be the key difficulty is that you two work well and not everyone does.
Yeah.
What a shame that is, though.
It is. No,
in
100%.
our field, a little tangent is one thing that I keep coming back to. Brittany is probably tired of hearing me say this, but I think as a full music community of professionals, whether you're secondary, elementary, band, orchestra, general, all of the things, we really need to figure out how to bring music to our communities so that way everyone's included at any level that they're comfortable and safe making music. It does not have to exist in an elitist way where the only path is profession
and how
leading us to a career.
How fortunate we are to choose music education. Like music education doesn't just fall in our laps for the most part. Like we choose music because we have found some sort of sense of belonging, some sense of community in music, whatever that is, right? I did musical theater. I can't read notes to save my life when I went to university, but I still belonged in it. Like Athena was a bando. Like they got to travel together and make lifelong friends. And like, we're so fortunate to have that in comparison to classroom teachers or administrators. Many of them, that was not like the first choice is to follow, like school admin, right? Usually there's something else that brings them.
Maybe teacher, but admin, yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
For us, like we all have a love of music.
And how sad, how many times have you guys, I know I experience this regularly, where you come across some grown-up adult who might have had some experience in music, but were told.
Yes.
Or somehow were like discouraged from continuing on because they just did not meet a certain level that was advanced enough. And I really want us as a whole music profession to try to figure out how to make everyone feel comfortable making music. And again, at any level. Some people might want to go that university route and make that their profession. And like, we are all prepared for that because that's all we know. But we don't know. And I think what we're tackling right now in our department is how do we make it accessible for everybody? And when we close the door off because they can't read music or they're really struggling on Western notation or Western instruments, then we're shutting off a huge portion of our students for actually connecting with us and connecting with music.
100%. And I think also you said at any level, also at any style.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We haven't even talked about genre. Absolutely.
Because as you mentioned, like the profession dancer is not likely going to be a band.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage.
So small. But music could still exist in so many other facets.
I don't know if you're familiar, Jonathan, with conversational solfege.
Yes,
John Fire. Okay, so he says, I want every student that goes through the program, and I'm sorry if it's been said on your podcast before, but to me, it's so impactful. I want everyone to be able to sing happy birthday in tune with their family. And I want everyone to be able to do Take Me Out to the Ball Game in rhythm. And
sing a lullaby to their child.
Sing a lullaby to their child. Like I want a lifelong musician. Yeah. And that looks different for everybody. And that's something that I feel when you co-teach with somebody who's just aligned with those things with you, like, yes, we're going to get there. Like it soften some of the burden that I think a lot of us, want to impart on our students is that you belong, music belongs to you too. And it makes it easier because you're like, look at this other grown-up who has such a different background, who maybe looks like you or sounds like you or looks like me and sounds like me. How cool is it that these two grown-ups can share it, even though Athena listens to this and Brittany listens to this? Side note, we obviously listen to the same things because we are the same person with different hair. But it's so special to be able to do that.
And on that same token, as this just pops into my mind, it doesn't always go perfectly.
Yeah.
We have had many lessons that feel chaotic. And because we're so aligned, one of us will figure out, do I go and match that high energy or do I bring it down? And I think we actually both end up going to the same corner. You're like, I'll just make it crazier. Yeah. And I'm like, you will whisper with me, children. But it's effective no matter what we do. It's just whoever is catching it and who's ever willing to like deal with that chaos and try to figure out how to get a handle. Because like we do love happy chaos.
Yes.
And we do love to
chaotic harmony.
Harmonious chaos.
It's always welcome for us. It's sometimes though, we just have to make sure that we have space for everyone. And when you can tell that it's not working for some of your students, you're like, we need some order. We need to bring it back.
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I feel like my last question to y'all, since a lot of us are not in the same situation as you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You are a very unique, well, first off, being co-teachers, but also then y'all working together so well. A very unique situation. So most of our listeners are not in your shoes. They're not co-teachers. And correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. Maybe you are.
Please reach out to us. We want to talk to you.
I mean, actually, seriously.
Share all the things.
Yeah.
All the things. Do you have any advice for us normal plebeian teachers on insight that you've found as a co-teacher that you can bring into the lonely, emo, solitary teacher in the corner? Do you have something that we could adopt into our teaching styles that you have learned because you've now co-taught with each other?
I think we're going to share some collaboration ideas, and then I'd love to share a little bit about the functionality of it. Is that?
There's so many thoughts about this, Jonathan.
Choose one.
You don't want us to yap for another 2 hours?
I would love to. I don't know if our listeners necessarily.
I know this is going to be like a week-long listen, but I think the biggest takeaway, as we talked about, it's so hard for me to get out of my prior experience, and I just think advocacy is key. And you can advocate with or without a co-teacher. You don't have to advocate with only a music teacher, and that's tough. But you can grab a general teacher, you can grab an admin, a parent. I actually had a parent that volunteered because she had a string background, and she was awesome. But to advocate for your program with another person in the space, and similar to what we did, just logistically figuring out how that's going to work in a certain space and planning for your goals, making sure I love backwards design and making sure that there's that student-centered approach, but being able to have someone else with some investment into the students that are in front of you, I think is a huge key to advocating for the impact of music and why it's so vital to all of our students. But you don't need another credentialed music teacher to do it. Obviously, I would love if everyone, if that's your takeaway, use a PD day or some kind of...
Advocate for that.
Advocate for that, shoot.
Yes, see if you can get, because that's I think the ultimate goal. And if you're not in that situation, because I know when I came across some teachers that teach at elementary, they are the only one in the district teaching elementary music, because there's some districts that are very small. And so if you are not really nearby any other credentialed music teachers, you can still, I think, have a successful co-teaching experience.
Advocacy can exist even without a second music teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think for me, it goes back to that first year where I started it. Yes, we have been taught how to function as a solo music teacher in our credentialing programs, in our university upbringing. But co-teaching really works best when you put your ego aside. And I think put yourself back into, if it's not going to hurt your little baby heart. I know I'm all feels all the time, but
not me.
I know she's so tough. But to put yourself back into what it feels like or felt like when you would go to juries at first and you had to receive feedback on your performance, and then you'd have to implement that feedback. The feedback, usually, if it was from quality jurors, would be for vocalists, right? Raise your palate here, or let's round that vowel a little bit more, or hey, in Italian, we really want to have that double consonant really pop out on that, beamed eighth note, things like that. It was never wow, Brittany, you should just never live your music life ever again. That's not quality jurors. And I know some of us have had some of those deep, dark baby moments, so don't bring those out. But,
be selective.
I know, but just putting your ego aside, and if somebody wants to co-teach with you, like a parent coming in for a little bit, or a classroom teacher who says hey, we're learning about, the evolution from caterpillar to butterfly. Do you have a song about it? Oh my gosh, La Mariposa. Oh my God, yes, I do. Let's talk through it. And if they say, hey, it would be really cool, or what did you think about this? To just pause, listen, and then think about, okay, the student-centered approach for this, is this. The way I personally am picking it up is that, I am all feels. Like anytime Athena's like, Brittany, do you think, like the first thing I want to do is like turn into a puddle and cry all the time. But I have to use that pause and that reflect button to hear it for the students in front of me. And I think when you do that with anybody in the room who has the student's best intentions, you're going to become a better collaborator. You're going to become a better teacher. You're going to be better for the students in front of you. And you're going to have a sustainability in your education that goes beyond what you would be able to do on your own. And also, like, something that works for me, if I don't have a co-teacher, record yourself. Record yourself teaching.
I love a video.
Watch it with your significant other and be like, hey, let's pull out some adult beverages. Let's watch it. Hey, did you understand what I was saying right there? Like, this is what I was trying to say. Right. It probably feels very cringy, but I have learned so much. There is not a class that goes by that at some point during the school year, I don't record some or all of it for my own reflection because I've had to put my ego aside.
Oh, yeah. Lower your ego and assess. Yeah.
Yeah, that assessment.
Love that so much. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. Like,
thank you for having us.
Yes.
We're such loyal listeners. We love it.
And I really do want to hear both your stories. Like, individually, but you guys can be also on the same podcast. It's fine, but another time. And also, there's a lot more for us to chat about.
Yes.
But thank you, and hopefully our listeners gathered something. I'm sure a lot of them aren't co-teachers, but I hope they got something from this. But to our listeners specifically, we're going to put a pause right now, but don't leave us just yet. We'll come back after the break.
Hey, we just want to take a quick moment to shout out Mission Trails Financial, the partner making this show possible at no cost to you. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by financial planning, you're not alone. But Mission Trails Financial is here to make things simpler. They offer tailored financial advice for you, from investments to tax and insurance planning, with a team of experienced fee-based advisors who are CFP designated and fiduciaries. That means they're putting your best interests first. Let's face it, navigating the world of finances can feel like drinking from a fire hose with endless options for investments just a mouse click away. But Mission Trails Financial aims to cut through the noise by breaking things down into clear, actionable steps while providing regular updates. Mission Trails Financial believes everyone has the right to work with a financial advisor regardless of how much you've saved. Mission Trails Financial's focus is building a relationship so you are not traveling your financial path alone. They even help you keep track of old 401ks when you're transitioning between jobs, because your financial future should always stay on track, no matter what changes. So don't wait. Let Mission Trails Financial show you how to make that next step towards the future you've worked hard for. Plus, your first consultation is absolutely free. Just visit missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 today. You'll be glad you did, because leaning on professionals like Mission Trails Financial is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more details. Advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
And welcome back. But if you've been with us for a while, you know what's up. A hard left turn. Thank you all so much for being a part of this 140 episode journey.
Yes,
actually more.
140.
Actual 140, but we also had episode 0 and 0.5. 98.5? Sorry, math be weird. But thank you so much for being a part of this journey. And thank you for listening. But first off, you want to make sure that these things still exist. Please support the things you love. A good mantra in general for life.
Yes.
We do have a Patreon, patreon.com/chclassroom, where you can get special merch and other things for the class. The Patreon is revamped so that there is a paid tier, but there's also a free tier. If you want to access some cool stuff like newsletters or the unedited episodes. I think this is going to be we're gonna have
What do you mean? This was short.
It was
so short.
short.
Cut out a lot.
I'll just cut out my 5 seconds, just shave a little bit off,
just a little.
So those are part of our free access. There's also our paid tier where you can get, different kind of principles as well as merch, all the good stuff. But I know subscriptions can be weird. I get it. So if you love our work, but want to just give us a one-time donation, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/chaotic harmony. I guess you're not going to buy a coffee, but you can buy me a coffee.
You do still,
Don't believe in
occasionally drink coffee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't say occasionally. I do drink coffee. I'm just not an addict. Like, I'm not just like,
give me the coffee.
Yeah, no headaches. That's good news.
They should call it Buy Me a Churro.
Oh, I would love that. I mean, you want to start your own business? We'll be your first,
That's what you could retire off of. Just changing the name.
Buy me a coffee or buymeachurro.com/chaotic harmony. If you donate there, you can give us a shout out. Give a shout out for yourself or someone else, or you can request a spiccato. But if you don't have a coin to toss our way, that's okay. We are here for free because, ideas should be free. But there are free ways to support us. Leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And you know the drill, 5 stars only. Right now, Athena's doing it right now.
I'm literally opening up my Apple Podcast. I'm one of how many? 3 people that listen.
300.
I mean, a good number. To add, if you want to leave us a review, we'll read that podcast on air. So, Athena, we'll read your, sorry, not that podcast. We'll read your review on air. Follow us on YouTube and the socials. Leave this episode a like. Write a nice comment. Holy piffle. Those trolls exist. So, drown them out. You'd be surprised. YouTube's shorts are like the something. It's like where people just decide to vomit on things. So yeah, we have some weird comments on there. So write us a nice comment. What do you call it? Outbalance. No. I'm trying to do the old one. Counterbalance the evil out there.
Sorry, I was just
I know. All these small things ensure that these mics and lights stay on.
Yes.
That all said, spiccato. We're going to do a classic spiccato. I'm going to ask you just a bunch of random questions, and I need the quickest response.
Oh, this is where I thrive.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll be wrong, but it'll be quick.
I mean, it'll be your answer. And also, it's not, you don't need one word, just like off the cuff kind of response.
Okay.
What is your favorite song that you've been listening the past 3 months?
Like Taylor Swift.
Why shouldn't my goose? It's around. Hear it
That's
soon.
coming up soon in a bit. That's what you've been bopping to the past 3 months?
What first answer.
You know what?
First answer, yeah. My second one would be a band piece, like Clifton Williams.
My second was Wicked.
Hey, I asked for one. One. We're going to remove that part from this. What is your favorite part of teaching?
The kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yes is the answer? Okay.
Ditto.
Cake or pie?
Pie.
Cake.
Ooh.
We can't be friends anyway.
Dark chocolate is already too much.
It just means we get the best of what we want.
You know what? We each get what we love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave the other.
You have all the pie.
You have all the cake.
This one, we're going to tone down the speed, but in maybe 10 sentences max. What is your educational hot take?
Do you want a new one? I gave you a few already.
You gave a couple, yeah, but you can expound on one or you can give me a new one.
I'll expand. Music for all at every grade level. Because I was at secondary for so long, I find that secondary focuses so much on a top ensemble, which I fully support and want to see that there is some type of ensemble for everyone. So you can bring your mod severe, SAI, brand new beginners, maybe kids who did vocal and fell off, want to try an instrument. I feel like there should be a foundational ensemble at every level and an inclusive environment at every level.
Brittany?
Yeah, I think I'll expand also. Music is a place and a space of belonging for all, and everyone should belong to music. And I think that transfers to education. And I really wish that our education system reflected that, because we can't have the other systems that we live by and through daily. We can't have the thinkers of our country out here. We can't have these innovations without education being a place of belonging and quality belonging, not just, oh, we've checked this box, but of quality for every single person, regardless of where they're at, and to lift them to be the best version of themselves. And I truly wish there was funding out there. If there's any rich people, help us out.
Or, just if you could just as a system, just
I mean, let's change
prioritize
the
it.
system
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I feel like those aren't hot takes. I think those are just good takes. It's like, but
They can
maybe
be hot and good.
maybe
I can tell you 100% it's a hot take for secondary because they do not want to teach a brand new beginner. Often, I will say, we had Julie Hahn.
Amazing.
We've seen her at OCDE. Julie Hahn is incredible, retired, but really went in her entire career with Montsevere, I would say.
Yeah.
But like special ed with music and like the music therapy approach. And she would try to assign, because she had funding, to have students join music programs at the secondary level. And most directors, according to her, shot her down. They did not want, I think one of the quotes was something along the lines of, there's no space for students like that in my program. And this is from like a band orchestra world. So, choir, I'm not as familiar with, but I know that that's one thing that seems to be a very hot topic, that music can be for everybody, but band is only for responsible students. Orchestra, they have to be responsible because they have an instrument and there's all this equipment and it's so expensive. And I completely disagree. And I think that's why I feel like it's a hot take. In our instrumental world, where most of my career comes from, there's just this really big divide. Like music, sure, but only if you're doing like the general music stuff, like the playful stuff. The serious work of band and orchestra requires serious thinkers and serious students. And I completely am the opposite end of that.
That's always been my hot take, is that general music, elementary music is the best music. Always been my hot take. My strings, my orchestra, my band, they can all take a backseat in my world. That's my hot take.
Cool. My hot take for the day, because I don't know if it's going to be a continuing segment. I don't know. ORF can be for beyond elementary. We can do ORF for middle school and high school.
Absolutely. Well,
yes.
Again, maybe not. I think everyone could probably theoretically agree. I don't think that's a hot take in that way, but but until it's put in practice, it means nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And right now in California, at least, some programs are still trying to come back to like pre-pandemic levels.
Mm-hmm.
And so how cool would it be to have like more of a foundational ensemble when it's like an ORF ensemble at a high school, at a middle school? Like a middle school ORF ensemble?
We have the orchestra. Just saying.
Let us know your hot takes, listeners. I'd be curious to hear. That all said, time to go to round of the week.
Round of the week.
Brittany, you have been bopping.
It's my jam.
It's your jam.
Yeah.
What is the song called?
This is dedicated to my colleague, Mr. Keegan Clifford, because we are turning this into
a banger,
a pantomime performance.
Pantomime. So we're not singing?
We're going to do a little pantomime.
Pantomime, not miming.
And then we're going to, not miming. And we're going to create some tableau poses about one of my phobias. And this is actually how I introduced it to the kids this last week. I said, I'm going to open up with you guys, and I'm going to share something that I'm very afraid of. And things that we're afraid of don't always have to make sense. This one doesn't make sense. And I tell them I'm deathly afraid of geese, and I tell them that I was attacked by one over winter break.
Geese are fierce.
Okay, see, thank you. Yeah. Okay, and so one of the
we all saw that episode on Gilmore Girls,
Oh, we did.
They got the
I'm on my 10th rewatch.
Okay, so we talk about that in choir, and we talk about, I'm feeling very vulnerable because geese are terrifying, and I want to talk about it. And what better group for me to share my fear than my incredible choir group, who is always welcoming and always kind and always willing to support me when I'm trying to become a better person. So then I share this round with them. Okay. I know. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
It's a good one. So it goes like this. Why shouldn't my goose sing as well as your goose when I paid for my goose twice as much as yours? I know. It's a good one.
That's a lot of words.
It is.
Why pay for...
Why shouldn't my goose?
Why shouldn't my goose
sing as well as your goose?
Sing as well as your goose.
When I paid for my goose.
When I paid for my goose.
Twice as much as yours.
Twice as much as yours.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do some movements to help you out, okay? Why shouldn't my goose sing as well as your goose when I paid for my goose twice as much as yours?
Why shouldn't my goose sing
Why
as much as your goose? When I paid for my goose twice as much as yours.
Goose twice as much as yours.
Sorry, why should my goose sing as well?
Sing as well. Yeah, my goose sings very well.
You want to do it in 3?
Let's do it one more time. Can you echo? Like,
you want me to echo?
Actually, let's just do tutti first.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? Here we go. Why shouldn't my goose sing as well as your goose when I paid for my goose twice as much as yours? Got it?
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I shall go on. Ready, my turn first. Why shouldn't my goose sing as well as your goose when I paid for my goose twice as much as yours?
Why shouldn't my goose sing as well as your goose? Twice as much as yours. Aw, yeah.
I wasn't sure when to come in either. So
every measure.
Okay,
I should have pointed to you. That's my bad.
Okay. We're here for learning. We're here for experiences, and it still worked.
Progress over product.
Indeed.
I'm excited to use that now. That's going to be in
I
my
might
head.
try that with my first graders.
So we're going to have geese out of socks, and we're going to go, why shouldn't my sing as well as your as an ostinato? Yeah, it's a thing.
You said shout out to who again?
Keegan Clifford. Yes, he will go the distance with me on any weird, fun idea.
A fellow co-teacher, partner teacher?
Yes, on a different team, RIP.
So they haven't had the chance to co-teach. We've done some co-presentations in front of our department. And there's a core group of us that should never be allowed to sit next to each other in any meeting.
You think this was a yap session. It's worse.
It's kind of like Mark and me next to each other. So,
yeah.
Athena, Brittany,
yes.
Thank you so much. I know there's a lot that we talked about, a lot of great stuff, and I'm sure people are curious about certain ideas. Where could they reach out if they have a question? Athena, I'll start with you.
So I'm on Instagram, but it's private. It's Athena Reyes on Instagram. So you could find me.
Well, if
email.
You prefer, we not. Do you want to say that? Or?
Oh, it's fine.
Okay, it's fine.
I add people all the time. It's just that, I think if you search for me, you're not going to see much. It'll just be my Disney picture at Disneyland with my family. So you can find me on Instagram, though. I'm share a lot of things. But you can also email me. So athenareyes@me.com because I'm an Apple person.
Me. How about you?
I am also on Instagram. You can find me on Musically ms.case. That's MS. And that's my teacher Instagram.
No dots?
Nope, no dots. It's all just rocking and rolling. Musically ms.case. You can also send me an email if you want to at ms.brittany.case. That's CASE @gmail.com. I'm not an Apple person.
That's the last
Samsung.
straw.
Samsung. Green bubble.
I'm recent into the Apple sphere. Is @me. You can do that?
Well, Apple does it.
I'm so confused.
Better.
Oh, okay. You can
it's
find
the last
me,
discrimination
though.
that's actually.
This is what we find
That's
out.
actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's the hot take there. There's the hot take. You can find me at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman, on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, kind of. And you can find also us at CH Classroom on the same places. Feel free to email us, though, if you have a question, if you want to be a part of this podcast, or if you just want to say hello, chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com. Thank you, Athena. Thank you, Brittany. It's been a pleasure. But until next time, bye.
Bye.